Welcome back to Unique Minds of the Okanagan. I'm Rob O'Day, and we are on location in Kelowna with Rhys Cawley, a local actor. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, good, good. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for coming back and onto the show and
No problem. Good to
getting
see you
do
again.
a revamp of what you've been up to for the last few years.
I
So,
guess, yeah, it's been a while.
for everyone who doesn't know who you are, why don't you give a quick backstory?
My name is Rhys Cawley. I am a full-time waiter, part-time actor, and yeah, I've just been trying to kind of work my way into the industry and get more work.
It's been cool because at the same time that you got into the industry, you kind of gave me a push to try it, and I watched you from the beginning get to where you are now, and it's kind of cool to see the evolution of you go from background acting with me to being actual roles and doing speech roles and actual characters. So
Yeah, it's been a trip. Yeah, it was literally like a childhood dream come true. So yeah, I was pretty stoked. It was wild. There's been a bunch of fun days on set. Yeah, some crazy days too. But
how long have you been acting now?
Uh, well, I used to do theater all the time as a kid, but I haven't touched that in years. But for the last 4 years, I've been trying to kind of get into the film industry, basically. So the first year, basically, all I did was background and just kind of wanted to see what life was like on the set. So I did a bunch of that and just kind of got used to the flow of how like a day works and everything. And then eventually I just kind of told my agent at the time that I was like, okay, well, I'm kind of done on doing background. I just, because I had been starting to get auditions for speaking parts and stuff by that point. And I basically told them, I was like, okay, I don't want to do any more background. I'm just going to try and focus on that. It was a slow start, but I've been in, I think it's 11 movies now. Or yeah, 11. So
Now, how many of those have been just background?
none of those are background. Those are
That's
11.
These are all
11
speech.
speaking
Wow.
roles. Now some of them are just literally you come on and have 3 lines or something, or 2 lines, and then you're done. Like one and done, as they say on
In the
the
film industry.
yeah. You're coming in, you're there for one scene, you do it, you're done. You're like, okay, hi everybody, and you wrap.
Fair enough.
Like I had a cop role in the Bear Lake Murders movie that's going to be coming out, and I don't want to say too much because I don't know how much I'm allowed to say about the scene or whatever, but it is based on true events, so I guess I'm not really going to be spoiling anything. But at one point, I'm just a cop, and they cut to a scene where they're looking for a body in the woods, and I'm the cop who finds him, and I just pick up like a jail outfit basically, and like call it in basically, and it's like, okay, that was good. You were there for a half hour, and you're done.
That's funny.
Of course, I was on set for like waiting to have my scene for like 4 hours, so you get paid for a ton more time than you're actually working. But no, it was a fun experience. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the film industry. So the transition from background, like for people who aren't really in it, it's definitely. I've done one audition for a speech role, and it's a total different beast.
It is, yeah.
It is. How do you find yourself, like? Because I found the hardest thing was getting into. I mean, as an actor, it's I guess you're essentially what you're supposed to do, but getting into the character for the audition with nothing there is, I found, really difficult.
Sometimes it's like a sentence,
Yeah.
like, you're this person's husband. Oh, okay. You look at that person, it's like, this person runs a shop. Okay.
Yeah, how am I supposed to? Yeah, and that's where it's difficult.
So a
right?
lot of it is just you bringing stuff to the table, just reading that page of dialogue you have and trying to glean, what bits of information you can from what, and a lot of it is just you filling it in with the character you decide to kind of create and bring to the table that day. So it's a lot of it's guesswork because you don't know what the casting directors are looking for. You don't know what kind of vibe they want for that character. So it's a lot of it is just stabbing in the dark and hoping you hit something. So
yeah, and it's also difficult when they give you like. So my thing was I wanted to be like the villain character. So
okay, yeah.
So
I can see you
our
those.
agent, right? And that's what I mean. I was like, I'd be better doing that than anything else. It's like, make me the bad guy. But our agent at the time had given me an audition, and I feel like I went a little too much into the character.
Okay, yeah.
And like, they were just like, no,
Yeah.
no, not even a chance. And I just kind of like realized that better at different things on film.
It's a
Like
skill
behind the
like
camera
anything
and
else,
whatnot.
right? Like I said, I got into theater when I was young. I always wanted to do it. Like my first play was grade 6 or 7 or something like that, right? And I did theater all through high school, and just that was, I always saw that. I always wanted to be in film. Ever since I was old enough to like see what was on TV and understand that it was fake, I was like, that's a job I want to do, kind of thing, right? So I've always wanted to do TV and film and that kind of stuff more specifically than theater. So I always kind of saw theater as like a training ground to develop characters and your skills and sort of understand that. And there's a lot of crossover between the two genres, and there's a lot that doesn't cross over, and like old habits that I've had to break, because like theater, you got to play to the back row, as they say, right? You're playing, you don't have a mic that's amplifying your voice. It's just you in a room full of people, and if they can't hear you, then they've lost half of the show, right? Because they can't
Yeah.
follow the story. And so and same with movements, right? You got to play to the person at the back so they can see what you're doing. And movement in theater is kind of like, I'm moving more, and now you know to pull your eyes to that direction and see that that's the person talking. It just helps with that kind of stuff. Whereas on film, less is more, right? You got a shot that's this close, and you're blown up on a huge 50-inch TV that someone's watching at home, right? With just your face, you got to tone it down a lot, and like little nuances are a lot more. And that was a hard thing to course correct. And the thing is, you don't get to course correct on the day when you're filming. You have to wait and see the product come out, and then see it with everybody else and be like, ooh, okay, well, I shouldn't be doing that. Oh, that's a big movement. Ooh, all right. So like a lot of the stuff
Yeah.
I've gone back, especially my earlier few smaller roles and stuff, you go back and you're like, oh man, tone it down.
Fair
So
enough.
there's been a lot of interesting learning along the way. But yeah, my first big role was, I had like 17 scenes in one show, and it was like a crash course kind of thing, right? It was a really big learning experience, and I did some things that I'm really proud of in it, and some things that I was just like, oh, I screwed up here huge. But like overall, I learned so much from that. I'm just, yeah, it's been a big learning curve.
Like moving to speech roles is like it intrigues me because
Yeah.
it's something that's like it's like as a band there's the opening acts, and then like there's the headliners, and I feel like it's
Yeah.
like the headliner status almost for
It,
like the local scene,
you
but
definitely
with
get
acting.
treated differently as an actor as opposed to background.
I
Not
was
that
gonna I
not
was
that
gonna
there's
ask
any
that.
mistreatment or anything. Like
Yeah.
I don't mean like that. Everybody's always super amicable on set, and like it's always, like I've never had any crazy animosity with
Oh
anything
no.
come up like that. But you get treated really well as an actor. Like I mean, they come and find out what you're going to want for lunch, and you have your own trailer, and like it's different. Yeah, it was a bit of a shell shock the first time. I was like, I just get to hang out here until, okay, cool. Like I had one show where they wanted me there super early in the morning. I think I showed up at like 6. I think it was like the first call. But then they had switched the scenes during the night and decided they were going to switch the order because they wanted to film outside and get those done while the light was good, or whatever it was. I think it was
Yeah.
something like that. So they weren't going to need me till 1, 2 in the afternoon, but I'm already on set. So they're literally paid me to hang out in my trailer. I ended up having a nap for like 3 hours, and then got up and just went over my lines some more, and like just sitting around like, okay, it's cool, no complaints. So there's definitely like the whole, one of the industry sayings seems to be hurry up and wait.
Yep.
It's like you rush to get there, you rush to get to the location, you rush to get in wardrobe and get makeup, and then you just wait.
Wait for the scene.
And wait and wait and wait.
Yep.
And but like a lot of people don't understand the structure of, I'm sure you do, because we're in background, you see how long it takes to set
Yep.
up each shot. But people think there's just multiple cameras and it's all lit perfectly, and you just film one scene in one take and then on to the next one. But it's every angle is a different camera setup, and they go through the entire scene that way, and it takes a good 45 minutes, half hour if you're lucky. You're usually closer to an hour just to get the lighting right, and then you hop back on scene and do, run that in that angle, and then you do it at another angle, and then it's all spliced together. But it's agonizingly slow sometimes.
Yeah.
And you have to remember how you were kind of delivering that in that way, so you can sort of mimic it if you're overlapping that, you know, it's
continuity is one of my favorite things on set, is watching.
It's
I think it's the prop person.
Yeah,
who's
making
like,
sure
they're always so on it. Like, you had this, you were right there.
Your watch is not on that hand. It's supposed to be on this. That ring is on the wrong finger or whatever. Yeah, no, they're
nuts. They're nuts.
It's everybody has a reason to be there, and that person's reason is to make sure that nothing changes, right? Like your hair is supposed to look the same, your clothes are supposed to look the same, your collar has to be wrinkled the same way, and like
it's insane how many photos they take along just to
totally
memorize that too.
Yeah.
And it was, I think you were touching on something earlier about like long days, and I don't think people realize like just background actors, they're there for 12 minimum.
Yeah. Well, easy. I was gonna say, and a day in filming is 12 hours.
Yeah.
You're there. You make overtime after 12 hours.
Yes.
That's, they expect you to be there from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. or whenever you start to there, and usually a lot of the time it runs late. Right, so you're looking at more like a 13 or a 14-hour day, and then you've got to think about, okay, well, how long did it take me to get up in the morning, eat, get to the set, you know, shower and all that stuff, get to the set, and then after, how long is it going to take me to get home, decompress, go to sleep, you know, eat and all that, go to sleep. It's exactly. So it's like it is your entire day while there's filming, like, and then some. Like, if you're a lead role, it is. Like, I've seen some inhuman hours and they're troopers, man. They just push through, and like people hear acting and they're like, oh, that's a cushy job. And in a lot of ways, it is 100% a cushy job. Yeah. But the hours are what kills you. And it's just agonizingly long hours where you're just waiting and waiting and waiting. And then, okay, got to be like, go, and you know, and then, okay, wait. And then on, right? Yeah, that's draining in itself. But
we've all done long hours.
It's just a different type. Yeah. But I mean, I'm not trying to compare it to someone who's doing 12 hours on a rig or something.
No, but even that, like, when I was doing construction, a 12-hour day construction goes by so quickly, and you have constant energy depending on what you're doing,
that's
right?
True, because there's not a lot of downtime. With me, like,
the downtime
when I'm
is
serving,
what kills you.
Which is my primary income, I can't sit down, because as soon as I sit down, I get tired and I want to go home.
Yeah.
So like, I usually don't take any kind of breaks. If I do eat something, I'm eat it in the pasture when I'm standing, you know, wash up, go do some stuff, come back, eat some more, wash up, go do some stuff. Like, it's because otherwise I just get exhausted. As soon as I want to sit down, once you're, you know, get a chance to sit down when you're serving, you're like, that's it, I'm done.
Yeah. I think it's definitely like the hardest thing about being on set is the sitting around and then having to hop to and be high energy and like go at it. The agency game.
Yeah,
is like, for me, I look at it like the record label game, right? Like, because I'm just weird. I relate everything to music, whether it's art,
they're
film.
There's a lot of mirrors in those industries. There's
and
a lot
you've
of
been in both.
Yeah.
So like the hip hop, or like not hip hop, but like the record label aspect with agencies. Like, is it difficult to find agencies in general? Like, how many are they? Are they everywhere? Or
I mean, so I can only really speak for myself. For me, it was relatively easy, but it was a lot of the right place at the right time. With the first agency I was with, there was literally just I had done one background in one other movie a couple years before that, which is probably why it popped up on my feed. But I saw a random post on Facebook about a new agency coming to Kelowna. They were looking for, it was just like an open casting call, bring your headshot and you know, come in and talk to us kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So I got on board with them right away and just started doing background work. And they're much more, that's the one that was all basically focused on just getting a lot of background actors, and they fill those slots for the industry, which is a needed thing as well. But,
yeah.
So I kind of got my feet wet with them, and then someone actually approached me, a casting director from Kelowna, and was like, hey, I heard you're not with your agency anymore. Are you looking for a new one? I was like, yeah, I haven't been actively looking, but that was the plan, kind of thing. She was pushing me towards the agency I'm with now, and she was like, this agency focuses more on union actors. And by that point, I was a union actor. I had been in enough roles that I was a full union member and paid my dues and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So she was like, yeah, basically all of the, or most of the union actors that are in Kelowna are with this agency, and you're actually the last union actor that's with that old agency you were with. So
Okay.
yeah, she was like, I've been kind of wanting to mention this to you for a while, but I didn't want to step on any toes. But now that
Fair
you're a
enough.
free agent, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. So yeah, it worked out really good. Now I'm with Spotlight there.
Have you done any independent films?
I've done one independent film, Wild Goat Surf.
Okay.
It's about a young girl named Goat, and she's a surfer, and it's kind of a coming of age story.
And you do a speech role?
No, and this one it's just this was actually, I think that was my second speaking role I ever had.
Okay.
And it was literally, there wasn't even dialogue written for me. I'm just supposed to yell at her and chase her. So basically the gist is she's breaking into this house because someone took her skateboard. I can't remember how she got her skateboard taken, but it's at this house in the garage. And she's breaking into the garage, and then I come out of the house, see her, and yell at her, slap the garage door, and like try and trap her in there and chase her, but she gets under the garage door and gets out in time, kind of thing, right? So it's a relatively quiet set. We're out in this nice orchard. It's this mansion, like really nice place and everything. And it's like everyone's quiet. You know, you can hear a pin drop at certain times on
You're
set,
just
right?
supposed to yell as loud as possible.
And then all of a sudden, because a lot of the crew don't know what's coming, right? They're not reading the scripts and following it. I mean, it's just
no, they're focused on the camera and
exactly
holding the mic
right.
up.
So like a lot of the stuff they watch is just like, oh, that wow, okay. So yeah, I all of a sudden just yelled, "Get the F out of here, you little." You know, some expletives, because I asked the director, I was like, am I allowed to swear? I'm not. She's like, yeah, go nuts. I was like, okay.
So that's one thing I was wondering is like, if you would like diving into acting more and becoming more and more speech, like independent role films, I think would be such a fun thing to do.
It was a fun day on set, yeah.
Have you done voice acting?
That's funny you asked that. Not yet. I haven't done. I haven't landed a role yet, but I've recently just started doing auditions for them. I never realized this, but I guess some actors are kind of finicky about not wanting to do it. So most agents don't just offer them by default. And I just kind of assumed that was a thing that I'd get them. But I looking back, I've never had a single one until I was with this new agent. And she messaged me one night and was like, hey, are you interested at all in voice acting? I've got something I think might be up your alley, kind of thing. I was like, oh, of course, yeah. I was like, I even told her, I was like, that was like another one of my dreams, is I wanted to be like a cartoon character on a, you know, because I love doing wild voices and stuff like that. And you don't have to play to what you look like, right? You can make a voice that sounds just diametrically opposed to your style, right? And like, it's fun to dive into that with just no restraint. So she's been sending me a lot of voice auditions over the last few months. So I'm really hoping to land something soon. I had a lot of interest from some casting directors on a show that's going to be coming up called Breaking Bear. It's like a cross between, it's like a cartoon Breaking Bad, but with animals kind of thing.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, there was some wild dialogue in that show. Like I legit want to see it. It's going to be a crazy one. But I had, I think 3 different roles on that I auditioned for, but unfortunately I didn't get any of them. But yeah, I'm hopeful I'm going to get something soon, because I want to see how that aspect of that industry works, right? Like, I've done some voiceover, which is like, it's not called voiceover, sorry, I'm using the wrong word, but can't remember what it is. It's basically additional dialogue that they didn't pick up the day on set, like if your mic was muffled or something, and you're doing a live action role, so you'll come in and you'll watch you say the words
and say it again.
You have to try and mimic exactly how you're saying it that day, kind of thing, right? So I've had to do that a couple times just because Mike didn't pick up my voice or whatever was the reason. But yeah,
that's one thing I've always wanted to do. I feel like when I was doing the background acting, it was something that it was nice, it was fun to do, but voice acting is more what I'd be comfortable with.
I feel like it's more freeing. Like there's not as many eyes, of course. I would assume anyway on a set like that, you just come into a recording booth and there'll probably be a few people, kind of thing, right?
Watching a film,
doing it, and you don't have to worry at all about what you're doing physically. You just have to kind of the only physicality you need is whatever you need to do to get that voice to sound like that, right? So it's a whole different vibe there. Like, yeah, no, I'm quite interested in doing something like that. So hopefully I land a voice acting role soon.
Like you'd be perfect voice acting for video games. In our previous interview, we brought up the fact that you had a comic book series, and like bringing back maybe a new one or creating a new concept, animating it on the computer, because it's a lot easier now with all the technology, and then doing your own voice acting and creating your own short series kind of a thing, right? Because I would love to watch some of the stuff that you come up with, because like your comic book series, the backstory alone is like, if you could get that in the hands of the right person, and you get it as a TV series, like.
And I like some of the visual like iconography that goes along with it, like the pearlescent sort of teardrop mask that he wears, and like the long gray like lab coat kind of thing, and like
even like now that
you're got an interesting visual style that would. I mean, when I wrote it, I wrote it as a comic because that's what I had access to, right? But like in my mind, I was like, this could be a movie or a series or something, right? But
now with the contacts that you have, do you think you'd ever maybe find somebody who you could pitch that idea to?
I mean,
because like your dream was to be an actor.
Give me another decade, right? You know what? Maybe.
You never know, right? Like,
who knows? I mean,
I find Hollywood's losing its from writing new movies, and they need some new like creative minds in there. And I think like. A good one.
I try not to look too far ahead of the road because I just lose sight of where I'm at.
Yeah. The creativity that came behind it, and that kind of like passion from films and the love of comics and
I appreciate
superheroes, and then getting into acting is like, I just kind of see
like, I just took the things that I love the most and was like, bleh.
And it's and that's kind of what like it's funny to see, because that's why I wanted to do another interview with you years after we did our initial one, is because it started with your acting in plays and your love for film, and then you had a dream that you just decided one day to go with. Like, I'm gonna get into acting. I don't care.
I just saw a slightly open door, and I was like, okay, yeah, I can get in there.
You booted it. No, you booted that open. There was no like pushing it in softly. Like you kicked it in.
But, yeah, no, it was.
I think that it realistically, at the end of the day,
it was the right place, the right time. But it was definitely me that drove it forward.
Yeah. But I just see it progressing, because like,
oh, that's awesome.
Having 11 speech roles in the time that you've been acting, I think is quite phenomenal. I might be like,
dude, honestly,
but
like,
I think it's a great amount.
It blows my mind that you can like go on Amazon Prime and watch movies that I've been in. Like that's wild to me,
right? Like,
and like even wilder was the first day when I realized I had an IMDb page. Because for years I've been following IMDb in the 90s, like late 90s when it first arrived. I was like, what is that actor in that movie? Oh, IMDb. It's that person. Oh, he was in this too? Oh, crazy. Right?
It's one of my favorite things to do. Like, it's such a weird hobby.
In the back of my mind, I was always like, that's a dream. Like, if I know, like, if I'm on the right path, I have my own IMDb page. And I can't remember who I was hanging out with, but we were literally walking down the street, and I was like, one day I'm going to open this app and type in my name. And I typed in my name and hit search and was like, and I'm going to have a... like, I lost it.
You've made the leaps and steps, and I feel like it's just going to continue. Like once you finally hit that point, and things just snowball. Because like, it hits in steps. Like I always find there's like this weird thing with life where it's you get 3 steps back to get 1 giant step forward. You know what I mean? There's always three bad things that'll happen to be like, oh, something good, really good happened in life. Yeah. I don't know if it's just because Murphy is weird and wrote the law like that, but I just find that that's how life always works. And it's like, you started, it kind of like stopped, and it was difficult to get to acting, and then all of a sudden there's a strike, you know what I mean, and the agency, and then
that's what I was just
those are the 3,
that strike
and then all of a sudden,
exactly what it felt like, just a couple steps back, and then okay, I can finally take 1 step forward again, and so now I feel like I didn't get a lot of roles leading up into the slow part of the filming season kind of thing, when fall hits kind of thing. and then, you know, you're just waiting it out until this time of year when
Yeah.
things are just starting to hit the ground and start picking back up again for the filming season. And I'm already getting a lot more roles than I was last season. So it's, or not roles, I should say, auditions.
Yeah.
Than I was last season. So I'm like, okay, I'm hopeful for a good year this year with filming. I'm hoping to, yeah, we'll see what happens. You never know. You never know. I could get nothing, or I could get a half dozen roles, right? So
I think it's just that's the difference between, like, you're not able to just like constantly go out there to find roles because you have an agent doing that for you.
Yeah.
Right, which makes it a little difficult because
all you can do is just try your best for whatever comes down the pipeline and work on your craft, really. So
yeah, and I think that's kind of it's an inspiring thing to kind of see yourself like hit rock bottom, climb your way back out, and see the diamond that is on the outside of, right? And when you come out through the doorway of hell, basically.
Yeah, there's been some rough points in this decade already.
Well, and I think it's just lessons, right? Like, I think it's the one thing that's really creates the character that you are, if that you like to say, is like those. It's not the good things that happen in life that really make you. It's the hard truths, the hard lessons. Those are what make you a better person, better at your craft. Whether
and it also really shows what you're made of and how you deal with adversity. And it's sometimes you crumble and sometimes you get back up stronger, and sometimes it's a bit of both.
Final question that I usually ask is if you had any advice for aspiring actors that might watch this, is what would be your
find an agent? Find out, just do a bit of Googling and find out who the agents are in your area and go with the biggest one. Just make yourself a headshot. Google ways to make a headshot, or go get someone that knows anything about photography to do a couple pictures for you. Choose a good one. Make a quick resume that just shows if you have any background in theater or whatever. Attach it to that and just go shopping for an agent. You're not going to get work without one, and if you are, it's going to be a real struggle. I have met a couple actors that didn't have agents that were trying to do it on their own, and like it sounded like a bloody nightmare, if I'm honest. I mean, these people only make money if you make money. They're there to get you work. That's what they do. That's their entire job. And I mean, my one agency got my foot in the door, helped me get started and get me walking. And this next one is helping me move a little further, kind of thing. And it's like even Tom Cruise and, the biggest names in the industry, they have agents. That's just, they're not the ones making phone calls and finding out about projects and is this project going to be good for they're shopping you to other people and finding out.
Like, how do you even go about doing that yourself, right? Like, how can you find out what the next film is going to be?
And that's just it. Like, you need those connections, and like, unless you already have them, you're fighting an uphill battle. It's not to say it's not possible, but it's streamlining the process helps you a lot in this world. And if you can get other people to take away some of that process and help you focus on what you need to focus on, I mean, I can't see that as too bad a thing. But
and I think that's how to phrase this properly. I think relying on specific people that believe in you enough isn't gonna take away from you and what you're creating.
100%.
It's when you invest and have people around you that aren't invested in you, kind of a thing, that makes it a lot more difficult to even push further. Because I think the number one thing is support.
And that's what I say. And that's why I recommend with actors, the first thing to do, find an agent, impress that agent, try and show them that you're driven, you want to do this. This is your goal and you're going to make it happen, kind of thing. Come in with the idea that you're going to get me work and I'm going to work for you, kind of thing, right? Like,
it becomes a partnership, right? Yeah, no, for sure. Well, we're just hitting that hour now.
All right.
So I want to thank you for doing this again, buddy. It's been great talking to you.
Good to see you as well. Cheers.
And we'll be back and see you guys next time.
Take care.